Welcome to Before We Overthink It, the show that captures people's initial reactions before and after watching a movie.
Ground control to Major Tom.
As a film buff who loves to discuss movies, I encourage others to take in and explore the stories they experience on screen.
Take your protein pills and put your helmet on. This is Major Tom to ground control. I'm stepping through the door.
We talk about movies while they're fresh in our minds, prompting emotional and highly opinionated conversations. My name is Paola Rivera and I'll be your host. And just a warning, spoilers ahead.
Ground control to Major Tom. Your circuit's dead. There's something wrong. Can you hear me, Major Tom?
Hello everyone and welcome back to the Before We Overthink It podcast. Today I am here with Justin again.
Hello.
And Julia.
Hello. I'm Justin's sister.
Yes.
And I'm Justin.
Today we're here to see Project Hail Mary.
Oh, that's so exciting. I've been wanting to see that.
That's good. We didn't tell Julia what we were watching. And we're at an early screening actually. When does it come out?
Yeah, so this movie comes out on Friday. And the press embargo was lifted, I think, last week. So we have some like preliminary reviews that have come out about it. We don't really know what to expect because it's all like those screenings that are, invitation only, and so they tend to be very favorable.
But
and
everyone's saying it's very good.
Yeah. And I think for me, I've kind of been watching the buzz around it, and I've seen it drop from 98% when it first came out, which was like only I guess a couple of screenings, and then it's now down to 94. I mean, we usually don't talk about reviews beforehand, but we know it, so we should just be transparent.
Last time we went into a 0% movie, so it's kind of.
But this should be a little bit better than the 0% movie,
yes,
hopefully.
A little bit better.
Just a little bit.
Yeah, we don't really know much about it or what it's about. But...
Julia, do you know about the book? Can you tell us about the book?
I've been meaning to read the book. A lot of my friends have read it, and it's their favorite book, but it keeps being checked out of the library, so I haven't actually read the book.
Do you know who's the author or anything about it?
Yes. It's the same guy who wrote The Martian.
Oh, I love The Martian.
Yes, and his Andy Weir. Wait,
I actually read The Martian. It was really good.
Yes.
And Poe, you have who directed it? I don't know.
It's Phil Lord.
Phil Lord?
And Christopher Miller.
Oh, it's co-directed.
Oh, 21 Jump Street and 22 Jump Street and Cloudy with the... Cloudy with the Chance.
Well, we don't know if this is...
One of my favorite movies, the Lego Movie.
And then the other one is...
Same thing.
Oh, so I guess they're like a duo.
Oh, their next movie is Beyond the Spider-Verse.
All right, well, we will check back in a little bit.
That was so good.
So good, Paola.
So good. Ow. It was so good. It was also like so beautiful.
I know.
Julia, did you like it?
What?
Did you like the movie?
Yes. It's very good.
It was so good.
Yeah.
It was so sad.
Justin was crying.
I was worried that he would die.
I know, me too.
And the particles were so beautiful.
They were. The ones that looked like glitter.
Yeah.
Those
In
were
the
so
beginning,
good.
I almost cried because the particles were so beautiful.
In the beginning?
Yeah, in the beginning.
What?
Like the red particles.
Oh, like when he puts on the space
Yeah.
mask and he does a little flush.
It was so beautiful.
It was very beautiful. They also had Harry Styles in the movie.
Oh my god. The music was so good. I don't think I've ever seen a movie with that good music.
I know, it's like an objectively really good movie. You know, Mia would have actually loved this.
Yeah.
And that planet Like, is that what it looks like? And like, he can't handle like the temperature, like that.
No, they created that like planetarium for him. We should take a picture in the Project Hail Mary.
Oh, you can sit with him.
Yeah, sit down. Weight limit, do not exceed 250. Never mind, we can't do it.
What are you saying? My knee. All my classmates are gonna watch. Jeremy's kind of giving Minion.
He kind of is, actually. It's gonna be wet out.
But not cold.
Whoa, they just turned off the light.
You don't have to film all of us walking.
Right
This is not making the podcast, you know.
Oh!
I feel like this was not what I expected at all.
Yeah, me neither.
Right. I didn't think it was gonna be like a super like heartwarming story about like humanity meeting alien, and the alien is kind of like a dog.
Yeah, often sci-fi is sort of like soul-crushing
Yeah.
and pessimistic.
And also
Yeah, like
often like the
Interstellar.
humans are, there's like a bad guy that's the humans, and it was very unifying because it was, the bad guy was this non-sentient virus. It wasn't like we were worried that we were gonna come home and that the humans were gonna like melt down the rock for science, like, because that's usually the peril in a movie like this.
At first, I was really confused on what he was looking at. Yeah, the gloop. I thought that was the same thing as the virus, and I was like, oh, they're gonna use the virus as fuel.
Wait, I thought that too. Is that not true?
No.
Oh, I thought that's what I thought.
The fuel? No.
But they say that.
The virus and the fuel were different, and the
'Cause-
collection of like organisms was also different.
Well, the organism, yes. But are you sure about the fuel?
The fuel is different from the virus. Because
No,
the-
because
no,
when
I was right.
when the fuel thing bursts and they're like going round and round in circles, he says it because it's migrating to that planet, because that's what the virus does. It migrates to the planet with the CO2 atmosphere.
and they're trying to find something that eats the stuff that's killing all the stars. I think.
I didn't realize that the virus and the fuel were the same person.
Same character.
Played by the same actor.
I'm pretty
I
sure
think
they
that
have
the
to burn
sludge-
all that.
I think that the sludge is like lots and lots of the virus, and that didn't he say that it like ate that it like absorbed the energy from the sun and then like farted it out, and that's what made it go,
Yeah.
and then like that's how it traveled. And
That
he
is
was
how
studying
that was
the
how-
virus, but then he
it,
was
like,
saying that
contains itself.
about the fuel.
Yeah.
Did you like the German lady?
Yeah.
Like, she was kind of mean.
Because she sent him to die.
Yeah.
No, she knew what she was doing.
I know she knew what she was doing, but he was like, I don't wanna.
Yeah, but he was being a baby.
He was for not
And
sacrificing
he changed
himself.
his mind. Yeah, what is he
No, he
gonna...
didn't.
He did change his mind after
He did say that
retroactively.
at the end. He was like, "You're right."
Yeah.
That's true. That's true. But he still didn't want to die.
Yeah.
Dying.
I
He was
wonder...
starving to death
Yeah.
on his ship alone.
Yeah.
I wonder if the scene where he's touching the strings, if that was a nod to Interstellar. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Oh, like at the end in this.
Yeah, and then it like flashes back in the same way that Interstellar scene with the books flashed back.
That scene, reminded me of the scene from Interstellar.
It actually reminded me of the emotion that I felt during that scene from Interstellar, of like the sadness of wanting to change the past. And then it made me reflect on that movie in the context of this movie, which I think they actually feel like sequels in that sense, even though they're not related.
Well, it's
actually.
also
But,
like the movie is like understands its genre and
Yeah.
sort of the context of all the other sort of sci-fi movies out there.
Yeah.
yeah. So it
Which
feels,
I think
it makes it
is
feel
like
original, actually.
notable, yeah, because it doesn't feel like a copy of Interstellar, but it does like sort of
It reminds
that
me
it's there.
of like certain parts of it.
I guess that because it so explicitly mirrors the story of Interstellar on paper, it actually makes sense that they would make this nod to Interstellar, cinematically, this homage to it. in a way, and it kind of, in my mind, helps it exist alongside Interstellar instead of trying to just retell that story. It helps it be its own story by almost paying respect. Because Interstellar, I know, Julia, you're not the biggest fan of it, but it is like an incredible movie.
Oh no, I acknowledge
Is
that.
it this? I might like this more than Interstellar. Though.
Yeah. Well, I think Interstellar is like fundamentally quite cynical.
Yeah,
and
it's like a lot like
and
sadder
this-
when you think about
And
it.
the ending of
And
Interstellar.
it's sort of like ambiguous, where you're like, wait, is that actually a happy ending?
Yeah.
But this movie is like, it's hopeful,
Which,
and it's
yeah.
like using communication and connection and all those lovely things.
in the
too.
way that Arrival, it reminded me of Arrival.
Yeah.
And I actually think that the time with Arrival in the middle, when they're first meeting, I think
with the
that is a homage to Arrival. I bet you there's a whole bunch of other famous space movies that are referenced in this movie, like 2001: A Space Odyssey, and maybe even Gravity. And I think that all these instrumental movies are going to be found in some respect, and it's just kind of up to us to figure it out.
Yeah, but I feel like to that argument, it's just like the genre. I feel like it's just the similarity.
But it's not accidental. That's the thing.
I just don't think everything is an homage, because sometimes you can't like
Well, the time is
not
totally.
do certain things.
The time,
in a space movie
the
about space.
introduction of the language with time, which was the fundamental part of Arrival that
That's
gave them
true.
their communication,
That-
was
that-
the only difference between them and the aliens was that they have a different perception of time, and that's a big reveal.
Yeah.
And language is what that whole movie's about, and we are learning to communicate.
That's
It's
true.
the language scene. So I actually do think it's a deliberate, like, explicit Easter egg there, and not so much of just it falling into a bunch of tropes that exist in the sci-fi genre.
Well,
But-
I think that it was maybe like intentional, but only because if it hadn't been, then
Then we would have
like,
just been comparing it.
there would be these tropes. But it sort of did it well, so you were less like, oh, this is just the same sort of thing.
Yeah.
But it's like, this is it, but in a new way.
And like, yeah, that's why like I agree, because it did it so differently from everyone else that I can't pinpoint certain scenes except for the Interstellar scene that I'm like, this is exactly like this scene from like The Martian, or like this is exactly like the scene from
It'd be
like,
kind of rich of them to be referencing
Yeah.
their own movie as like a
I would-
legendary space movie.
I
I would
like it.
argue that it should be there, but I would think that would be a little pretentious if they had a
if
bunch
that
of.
was me, I would do it.
Self-congratulatory.
But it'd be self-congratulatory because the whole point of all these references is to actually remind us of just how incredible these old movies are, and like Alien in those
I know,
movies.
but it's like, I'm just thinking back to when we went to see Send Help, and how it was like a survival movie in the jungle. That just reminded me of like Alvin and the Chipmunks, which is like a survival movie in the jungle.
And it
but
didn't-
it also reminded me of like Lord of the Flies, and it reminded me of
yeah,
like
Hunger.
oh
Hunger
no,
Games? No.
I mean, kind of like the
Castaway.
Hunger Games and Castaway. So like, it's just sometimes that the setting is so similar that you just kind of everything reminds you of it, because it's like the same setting.
Yeah, well, I guess that also helps it avoid us just being like, oh, this is just like that other movie, because it's explicitly
Yeah, because
referencing them.
you're saying, wait, is that a reference?
And the story
But
part
it
is
also
more,
like
yeah.
sort of includes the audience in the story, because you're like, you know this, you like remember this, you saw that in Interstellar.
Yeah, that's true.
And also just the music and the way that the music brought up emotions in scenes that wouldn't even have otherwise been emotional, like scenes of them spacewalking. I guess like awesome quality of it. I find that word silly to use, but like that is the best way to describe the way that the music affected some of the imagery shown on the screen. And then with the context of the film and just the grandiose, incredible stakes, and also the like self-sacrifice and the friendship that you see, I think it just combines so well together with all these different features to just really, I don't know, make a masterpiece of a movie. I don't know what
other species did fit together.
other spaces they just like in his in his triangle like globe thing.
Yeah. I liked the voice he picked for him. That was like the perfect voice for Rocky.
I thought he should have been the Scottish one.
Wait, Julia. But remember in Interstellar, one of the whole reasons you like Interstellar is they're just living in these space stations that are just this little neighborhood in a cylindrical tube.
At the end?
Yeah, at
where
the
they
end.
have like transplanted.
And you didn't like the fact that they
Indiana
left Earth.
to-
That they left Earth, that they abandoned the planet, and it was a Elon Musk techno-futuristic vision of society or of humanity that is the excuse everyone uses to destroy the planet in order to further technology to its farthest potential, right? That's I think valid criticism of that movie. And I think that this, if you really think about it, it was able to execute that without the anti-human, anti-Earth sentiment because
they weren't going to find a new Earth.
But in substance, he did actually wind up in the exact same place as Matthew McConaughey. They wound up in the same place, and we are assuming that the Earth was healed because he also was able to save the Earth in the process.
The alien was just really good at communicating.
That's true. But I mean,
which I get, it's not implausible.
Well, here's the thing, though.
It's just like they didn't have like really major sort of differences that they had to, like how you said in Arrival, they had to like get over the hurdle of realizing that they didn't conceive of time the same way. So there wasn't something like that, which I guess was helpful in their communications.
Yeah.
I was thinking about how the fact that he has that program almost speaks to how computer programming is changing today with AI writing computer programming for you. And that type of system would be on his ship because this is in the future. And so they essentially had the help of him being able to translate his natural language speech patterns, and it could interpret that and then translate it into the few words that they did manually decode.
Yeah.
So it kind of makes sense that they actually have this rapid ability to speak once they cross the first barriers of speech. And he didn't have to actually program it. He could kind of just vaguely describe the program and the computer would program itself.
Yeah.
In essence, because they do have robots.
I just think that first barrier would be like really, really hard to cross. And that like the way that they did it with the clocks was cool.
Yeah.
But I'm just like I'm just impressed.
I mean, but you're also studying
and like,
the nature of language, so you have a unique perspective on how different languages are fundamentally different from one another in a way that makes it really hard to sometimes establish direct connections from one language to the other, right?
Just think about how like different languages are on Earth, and they all have in some form a common ancestor. So just like meeting an alien language, there's just no common ancestor, no matter how far back you go. It's just fundamentally different.
Mm-hmm. And their perception of reality is fundamentally different because they perceive reality with echolocation, right?
Yeah. Oh, I thought that was cool how they would show like what Rocky was seeing.
Yeah,
I really like that. Yeah.
I like how it happened the first time, and I was like, "Whoa, what was that?" But then like,
and then
he realized it.
And they showed Grace's face, where when Rocky discovered Grace's face, and to me that was like a really like moving scene because it was like Rocky discovering what Grace looks like, and then me also as a viewer discovering that this thing has the ability to perceive like different beings and be curious and kind of amazed at things. And it really proved that, you know, because I had Arrival in the back of my mind of a being that fundamentally experiences life differently and is not going to be able to relate to me at the same way, but it humanized Rocky in a way that didn't take away from the character as well, I think.
What would you give it on Letterboxd? What would you give it out of 5?
I think I'd give it a 5.
Yeah, I think I would too. Because it was so enjoyable. Like, it was so...
And it was like emotionally engaging.
Yeah,
I find
and
myself
heartwarming.
hoping it was not over yet, when there would be a major breakthrough in the
Yeah.
like hoping that we weren't about to like wrap it all up in 2 minutes. And,
Yeah, I thought it was gonna end when they like parted ways because I was like,
Yeah.
all right, this is it. This is
and
like
they're gonna
the,
just shoot home
the
and then
like you know, sailing off into the sunset moment.
Yeah, and for a little bit, I thought that everything that he was gonna send back to Earth was somehow gonna make like it
Not
wasn't
work.
gonna make it,
or there's gonna
like,
be a big obstacle, which there was.
No, I thought that maybe by the time he sends it back,
Oh, they'd all be dead.
they'll all be dead. Like it was like worthless because all of Earth is
Kind of
dead.
like in Interstellar, how all that time passed.
Yeah, and
And he had no
Like the
idea
world
all that
ended.
time was passing, and
Yeah.
like
That's where my mind went to when he like made that decision, and then I was like, oh, it's just gonna end tragically because everyone on Earth is dead and he's alone, and then his friend, he's never gonna see his friend again because he's gonna run out of fuel.
yeah. And I thought that the movie was going to just drastically change tones.
Me too. I never
Where
thought it was gonna be a
we
heartwarming
would never
movie
get
with a
we would
happy
never
ending.
get I thought we were never going to get an answer to what really happened to Rocky. We just were going to fundamentally understand that Rocky just died. Because because everything he creates is made out of the material that the stuff learns to eat.
Yeah.
And I really was
Oh yeah,
like,
I wanted to
thinking
talk
that,
about that. I forgot to bring it up.
yeah, I was thinking about how we were going to how it was gonna just break his heart knowing that there was nothing he could do, and he was just gonna have to really sadly return home to Earth and feel defeated, but actually it was a happy ending.
yeah, where he like won, but at the cost of his friend.
But yeah, we should talk about the fact that
The reason why he went back because he realized that Rocky was gonna die because the stuff was just gonna kill him and his family and his planet.
Yeah,
Because
because he could contain the like predator, what do you call it, amoebas, because he had stuff that wasn't that that substance.
gas that's actually
Yeah,
solid.
that's a solid.
Yeah.
But that all of Rocky's ship was made out of that, so he would have had nothing to contain it.
Yeah.
I was just thinking, like, this is not really relevant, but like, imagine the pressure of having the only thing that can save Earth, and then being like, oh, I better not screw up now. Like, I'd be worried that I'd accidentally blow up the ship, just
Especially
like
'cause
coming in.
And imagine
because
just
they
going to sleep and just trusting the autopilot to drive for 70 years. Or how many years?
4 years.
4 years.
4 years.
But like I would not trust my car to drive for 4 years on its own.
Well, it's because you have to put it in like a trajectory where like nothing's gonna be in its way.
I also
Yeah,
always
but what if there's a
wondered what if
That's
there's
true.
like an asteroid or like a space microwave or something like small
What?
that then the ship is just driving at the speed of light.
Oh yeah,
and
it
it
would just rip
hits
a
like
hole through
a
it.
tiny like golf ball or something in the middle of space, and it just rips all the way through it. Like, how do they calculate the path? Or like, does it fly so fast
But
that it phases?
also-
This is a common problem that I've had for sci-fi movies that I've wanted to know. Also for like real life, like how does the Mars rover drive to Mars without hitting a freaking rock?
No, but
I think that they can detect rocks from when they're pretty far away, and that they can like figure out where they're going.
But can they detect
far
like
in
a rock
advance.
hitting a different rock, hitting a different rock, hitting a different rock, and then just kind of?
I mean, they're really good at math.
That's true.
yeah, that's what they're made.
But
for.
I also think that rocks in space are actually pretty far apart, because space is pretty big. So maybe they don't hate each other very often.
Maybe, but it just takes one.
Yeah, this is true.
Especially
and he didn't have shields.
And driving, the speed of light, you're gonna be crossing through a large amount of space, and statistically, if there's one rock every like 10 million miles,
Wait, but okay, so
which
like,
seems plausible.
No, in the movie, he was like put into this coma, right? So he was gonna be in it for like 30 years. But the other two people, were they like just working on the ship the entire time that he was in a coma, or were they all like in hypersleep and then just waiting to get?
I was peeing
I-
during this time.
I think that they were all asleep, and that
But
something
why
went
did
wrong
they
with
die
theirs.
though?
I don't think the movie knows.
I thought they might have like starved to death or something, but
But he had
I
plenty
was
of food.
wondering
But
if
they did
with
say
food.
that they would all be asleep, and then he was like, "Isn't that risky?" And she was like, "This is all risky." Like at the beginning. But it was like the same thing had happened on the other ship.
yeah.
It was a parallel, except that we know what happened to the other ship because he figured it out.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like he said, it was radiation.
The Rocky also like didn't understand certain theoretical things.
Yeah, even though he was so smart.
Yeah, well, I think he grew to understand them when, Grace taught them.
Yeah.
And that was part of what made the movie work, was that it was this format of teaching one another about things and discovering, and also recording these diaries that are needed in order to understand what he has brought back to Earth.
What that part reminded
For
me of.
someone's parents or
Interstellar?
something.
Yeah,
Or like
well,
Alien.
guess what
Alien
movie-
is what it reminded me of.
The Martian.
And The Martian.
Oh yeah.
It was
But
his
also an-
the only person he had was the
The
satellite.
like ASCII. Yeah.
Yeah, and then his little videos he would send back.
But I also think that, like what you were saying about them teaching each other, that often in sci-fi movies, there's like an imbalance in like knowledge or technology, where it's either like the human meets the alien that doesn't have technology but is really like primal and is going to kill them.
Mm-hmm.
And it's sort of like an animal.
Or it's just an organism.
Yeah, or the human meets the really, really advanced alien, and in that instance, the human is sort of like
So like
the
with
organism,
Predator,
right?
where it's like, where we just see a ship with a bunch of freaking lights that you don't understand a single thing. Or, with Star Trek, where it's just like a ship with like lights, and Alien. All these movies where it's just like abstract imagery that is just abstract for the sake of being vague. That type of imagery is technologically advanced, but there's also technologically primitive aliens that are shown, like the Alien, where it's just
It's just like
really,
this thing.
really beast, like a really fierce beast.
Yeah, and it just
The xenomorph?
wants to kill.
Yeah, like the xenomorph. And it just wants to kill, and it can kill, and it has all these evolutionary things. I mean, the xenomorph is the furthest evolved being that's evolved to kill. So all of its traits,
like Predator.
But in this movie, they're like equal in a way, even
they're
though
relatable.
Yeah, even though they have sort of different levels of knowledge and different things, like Rocky could sort of make really cool things that looked really technologically advanced, but they sort of could relate to one another because.
And there was like, he had a specific medium that he could paint with, and that was the limitation of his communication.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like they just had this infinite like 3D printer or whatever. He had to genuinely figure things out the same way that we do, and it made it more relatable.
Yeah, but I feel like the reason why the movie seems so original, or just like we don't see this a lot, is because most of these movies, the alien's like evil, or like something that's gonna like endanger
benevolent.
you. Yeah, or like you don't see it. Like it's only like this threat that lives there.
Well, because
It's
so,
like a
yeah.
device. Like we see it through the sort of
only
like
thing-
as sort of an
Yeah.
other for the human.
yeah.
Because it's so hard to make a story, a sci-fi alien story, without having either an evil alien trying to destroy humanity, a mega corporation trying to
Destroy
profit
an
off the alien
Yeah.
that's also dangerous. Like, I'm thinking of the new Predator movie, Predator Badlands, that was really good, but it was
Also like Avatar.
an Avatar and all those movies where it's just a evil corporation or an evil AI, like in
Or-
2001:
like
A
Wall-E.
Space Odyssey.
Or
yeah.
Or like the other option is that the alien is just good and really technologically advanced and has come to like save the humans from themselves.
Like in Arrival.
In Arrival.
Yeah.
And also like Interstellar in a way, except that they were humans.
Yeah.
So it's sort of hard to reach the alien because either it's evil or it's
Yeah.
like so far away because it's so good and powerful.
Yeah, there's like no companionship between like the different, like humans and like the aliens. It's like always has to be a conflict.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Well, because they can't
Yeah.
understand. And Arrival was the first movie kind of start to address this, where where when you communicate with creatures, it opens up a new possibility for understanding and for discovery.
Yeah,
Then
but
when
they
you
were
fight
still
them.
like the form of sort of a teacher and a student, where they were like both the teachers and the students, both of them, and also they were like friends. It was like a buddy comedy in a way.
That's why it was like so silly and fun to watch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was also like beautiful.
Yeah. When he came alive, the wind, like listen to the wind.
Are we getting
Are we in a
distracted?
tornado?
Justin, open the door.
Whoa. This is crazy. Oh my
We
God.
kind of need them.
That's crazy. But yeah.
But like what?
Wait, yeah, so 5 out of 5. Julia,
5
what
out of
was
5.
it?
Oh, also 5 out of 5.
But yeah, this was one of the better movies I've seen in a while.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. But anyway, what shall our next movie be?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, it could be the one that the bride, or it could be, what's the other one that I saw advertised out there?
What is it?
There was drama or something.
The drama.
I'm so excited for the
But
drama.
you know, alright, low key,
What?
I was reading a Letterboxd review about it, and
Stop reading the early
Apparently-
reviews. But I think for our next, if we can't do The Bride next, I would like to do Aquamarine.
oh my God, Paola. Well, how can you talk about Aquamarine after watching this movie?
What are you talking about? The Aquamarine is also a movie about friendship and making friends with someone that doesn't look like you.
Is it really?
Yes, they're friends with a mermaid. But anyway, this is a very good movie.
This was very good movie. If I come up with my Letterboxd review, I will put it on the screen.
Okay.
But I think we should watch The Bride next.
The Bride doesn't come out until like April something.
What do you
like
mean?
April
The Bride's
13th.
out.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm talking about the wedding movie, the
What is
drama.
she talking about?
The drama. I'm sorry. They're both about brides.
But we will try not to get swept away in this tornado here. Have a look around.
Yeah, let's not do that.
This is actually kind of
I wish
crazy.
we could now have a 30-minute drive home. Oh,
We
bye.
came so far away just to see this movie. But are you gonna exfiltrate?
Yeah.
Extra? What do you call it?
Outro?
Outro. I don't have an outro.
You gotta come up with one,
Or
Paola.
did you say I had to have one?
Yeah, he did. So Paula, what's it gonna be? What's our next?
We are going to watch The Bride next. So, see you in the next episode.
I might have the power went out, bro. Look, the whole power went out.
Whoa, in the theater too.
Yeah.
Oh, that's why we got all dark. Oh shit.
This is crazy.
What the heck? Oh my god, they were right about the tornado.
They weren't lying about the tornadoes, Paula. Oh, there it is.
Back. That's
Oh, there it's gone again.
kickstart the generator. Rico.
Well, look, they have their emergency lights. Oh, there it's back.
It's back.
Oh, never right. I can hardly see. My windows are too dark.
I thought you turned off the lights in the car and then said the power went out.
No.
Like, what are you talking about?
Might have. Did I turn left? Alright. Alright, well, we will be seeing you all soon.